Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. This is a special episode. I just spit on myself. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And to be exact, I am a recovering alcoholic celebrating 8 incredible years of sobriety. So thank you so much for joining me today. I want to just talk a little bit about what it was like for me and some of the lessons that I learned along the way. There's been 8 years of growth, challenges, life kept happening, bullheadedness, and lots of epiphanies and transformations along the way. Whether you are one day sober or on year 10 of recovery, or if you're not even on a sobriety journey and you are a part of the podcast listener community for other reasons, maybe you're a stroke survivor, vestibular patient, or you just love to hear all the knowledge I'm dropping on you. Thanks for joining me. And this episode is a testament to the power of consistency and the beauty that life holds when we do the work and we're consistent. So wherever you are, I welcome you and thank you so much for sharing this time with me and celebrating with me. So 8 years ago on this very day at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I did not make some grand decision to reclaim my life and step away from the shadows of alcohol and step into the light of recovery. It did not look like that for me. I was lying in a terribly uncomfortable bed at Inova Cat's inpatient detox facility. And I had been there for about 12 hours. I got admitted the day before, and I had a nurse that had just come into my room, and she was giving me the last of about a dozen blood alcohol content tests, and the device finally read 0. And I remember laying there and looking, it was dark in the room. All I could see was the light of the little screen on the device. And I saw that it read 0.0. And I thought, okay, here we go. That was step one. That was the first thing that needed to happen. I needed to not have alcohol in my body. And I can't tell you, well, I can tell you, actually. I was going to say, I can't tell you when the last time I didn't have alcohol in my body was, but it was the time before that I had been at that same detox facility. So for me, I relapsed and I had to go back again. And the reason why I relapsed was because I didn't take all the suggestions that were given to me. I wanted to do it my way. And I still felt that there's that bullheadedness that I mentioned. I felt that I knew what was best for me, and I was going to be able to figure it out my way. I'll do a little bit of what they tell me to do, and then I'll do it my way. That didn't work. It didn't work. And when I have folks come into the sobriety program and they say, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in talk therapy. I don't believe in this or that. I'm not going to get a sponsor. I know I'm supposed to call my sponsor every day, but I'm just going to text them. Like, as soon as there's excuses to not do something, it's a guarantee for me. It's a guarantee that that person is going to relapse, because that is what happened to me. And that's what I have observed with other people. So that is probably the first and greatest advice I have for somebody who is sick and suffering, or if you have a loved one that's sick and suffering. I did have somebody reach out to me today after I shared on my Facebook page that I was celebrating. I like to do that. I like to recover out loud because I want to make sure that my pain and suffering is helping other people and not just me. The more people I can bring with me, the better. It makes me feel like I was fighting for more people than just me. So I had somebody reach out to me about a family member, and I said, the best thing that I can tell you is don't give up. I didn't get sober the first time. And the first time for me was not the detox facility. Like, I was trying before the detox facility for years, trying, going to AA meetings and thinking that there was some magic thing that was going to happen that was going to keep me from drinking. I just didn't truly believe that the answer was that. Sorry, I thought I saw something on the wall. I might be seeing things. Um, that's kind of creepy. I don't know. I didn't see anything. Anyway, okay, sorry about that. It was like a big shadow or something. It was weird. Okay. So that totally distracted me. So I said, I did not get sober the first time. There were years of attempts, and I kept not doing all the things that were suggested. I would do a little bit and then I would drink again. So I would do a little bit more the next time and I would drink again. And it wasn't until I went to the detox facility and I took every single suggestion that I was able to stop drinking. And so my best advice to this person was don't give up, because I think the frustration, and it shows in the movie that I listened to, that was about Bill Wilson and his wife. And it was the story from his wife's point of view. And she just did not give up on him. She just kept fighting, even when he didn't have a fight in him. And I think that is what is so important. And thankfully, my family did not give up on me. Some people in my family didn't have any idea that I was as bad off as I was. And I did have another person reach out to me on Facebook that shared a similar story about being totally unaware of somebody in the family that was suffering and then later passed away, which is just saddens me. Just another reason why I'm here and I'm recovering out loud and talking about the disease of alcoholism. So, I want to share a few pivotal moments for me in my journey. And these were turning points for my sobriety, my spirituality, and my faith. So the first one was that detox facility. I had to do that in order to get the alcohol out of my body. I could not do it safely at home. I was on a walker and had to take medication in order to make sure that I was get detoxing in a healthy way, so that people can have seizures and have all kinds of stuff that happen to them. So I wasn't aware of that when I went in there. So I told you, I didn't make this decision to reclaim my life. What I did was I realized I was going to die. That's what I realized. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I'm going to die. I said to myself, I've told you guys this before, you're already dead. There was no life left in me. And that's why I went. I called myself and reserved a room for myself for the second time. And I knew I was going to die. I didn't have any grand decision like people say, I wasn't ready to step into the light. And I just knew that if I didn't do something, I was going to die. And I had 2 kids and I was about to lose everything including my life, if I didn't do something about it. The facility itself, I was just talking to a friend today who took me out to lunch, and we were talking about how sometimes I wish I could go back into the detox facility. And why is that? It's because it felt safe there. It felt like I was taken care of. It felt like I was protected from my own disease there. Like, um, I'm not free in the world to make bad decisions. They're making sure I make all good decisions. Um, and it's interesting because, like I said, the bed was terrible. It was terrible to the point that I was like, I need to like donate beds, like donate mattresses to that place when I get out of here. When I become rich, I need to donate mattresses to that place because there were just like springs in my back. It was terrible. It was terrible. But sometimes I think back to that place and all the people like lining up in the hallway to get our medication in the morning and in the evening, and sitting in this living room type area that was in the middle of all of our rooms, and feeling, even though I was with these people that were nothing like me, there were people that were hooked on or were detoxing from heroin and all kinds of stuff that I would never have even tried. I thought of myself as like a homebody, and I was just drinking boxed Vela Chardonnay. Like, I'm nothing like these people, but I was like those people. I had an addiction just like them. I'm no better than them. And there was just this camaraderie in there, even with the people who didn't want to be there. I wanted to be there in a sense. I wanted to be there. I wanted to get help. And the first time I went in there, I didn't necessarily want to be there. I felt like I needed to do something, but I wasn't convinced that I needed to be there. And which is why I eventually drank again. So anyway, today I was talking to my friend and we were just exchanging that same mutual thought that like it would be nice to just be able to go back and be protected there for a little while, a few days or something like that, and just have that sense of comfort. So I think that that's interesting that I feel that way about that place now. Um, so what else happened to me? Some things that stand out to me, just a couple I wanted to share with you. The day that it changed for me, what does that mean? So I don't mean the day that I decided to get sober. This is the day, this is like, there's only a couple times in my sobriety that I have a moment that is like a snapshot of when something in me changed. And one of those is a business trip that I took my first year of sobriety. I don't even think, maybe I was 6 months sober, something like that. And I was assigned to be in charge of this like $100,000 booth for a company. And I was very anxious about it. And I was anxious about the fact that I was in charge of something that had so much money poured into it. But I was also anxious about going on my first business trip away from home and not having anybody watching me, not having my boyfriend at the time or my kids or the sobriety program, people in my network, my sponsor, not having anybody holding me accountable for my behavior on this business trip. And business trips were, like I hear a lot of people say who are in recovery, business trips are a big trigger. Airports are a big trigger. Hotel rooms and bars in the lobbies of hotels are a big trigger. And I was afraid of that. So the first time I went, I actually took one of my panic attack pills before the airplane took off because I was so used to being like three three drinks under before the airplane took off that I was like, I'm going to need something. So I did take that and realized after I slept the whole time in the plane that I didn't think it was necessary, that I was actually okay, but I needed something. And because I was afraid of what was going to happen. Uh, and that's fine. I didn't take anything that was addictive, or I was taking something as it was prescribed to me, so it was fine. Um, but I realized I didn't need it. So anyway, when I did this business trip, I was able to be so focused on work because I was in charge of this big booth that I did not really have a desire to drink. And I was really proud of myself for getting the work done. I had lots of work to do when I wasn't actually at the booth. So I didn't have enough time to sit around and think, what should I do tonight? It was either I was at the booth working or I was back at the hotel and I was building something, some sort of creative document for the booth for the next day. But the last day, after everything was over, I was going out to get something to eat, and I started walking, and I didn't want to stop at any of the restaurants because I was afraid of what would happen if I stopped. I was afraid that I was going to drink. And so I just kept walking, and I kept thinking to myself, nobody would know. And this is a trap that I always would think of, and I would end up drinking. I just would say to myself, nobody's going to know if I drink. About the third lap around this big, gigantic block in San Francisco, I realized there's two people or two entities that would know: me, and if I truly believe in God, God will know. And that was all I needed. That was all I needed to think of. And I stopped at a restaurant and I had the biggest chocolate hot fudge sundae, and they of course gave it to me in a martini glass because what else would you give an alcoholic who is trying not to drink and got ice cream? What else would you give it to him in? I just laughed at that. But I sat at this bar because that's the only place there was open to sit, and I ate this big ice cream sundae in a martini glass, and all the people at the bar were like smiling at me and didn't say anything to me. I didn't say anything to them, but clearly they were happy for me. So that's what it felt like. That's what I felt while I was sitting there. I felt proud of me, and I felt like everybody in there who didn't know me was proud of me too. But that moment out on the street of San Francisco when I was walking, and I realized, I almost feel like I stopped in my tracks, like literally stopped walking and thought, I would know. and God would know. And that's the first time that I never felt alone again. I've never felt alone again since then, which means for me, I believe that that was the day that my faith began, really. So outside of this growing faith, over these 8 years, my nose is itching really bad and I'm trying not to itch it, but my bulldog was like jumping all over me before the episode. And I'm allergic to dogs, believe it or not. So it just makes my nose itch. So that's why I keep avoiding itching my nose. So we'll just have to put up with it. So over these 8 years, I have learned over and over again that my journey I'm not alone in my journey. Not just my faith, but all of these people that I've gotten to know in recovery. And for me, it's taken me a long time to find my people in recovery. So I wanted to share about that also. My first year of sobriety, I kept going to different meetings. I went to so many different meetings because I never felt like I fit in. And I imagine that there's a lot of people who go to sobriety meetings and they're like, I don't know, this doesn't seem like it's for me. If you're an introvert, which quite often, at least in my case, I'm not an introvert, but when I'm in my disease, I act like an introvert. So the last thing I wanted to do is try to connect with people. And it made me uncomfortable to have people that I didn't know coming up to me and being like, welcome, welcome, join us. That's what it felt like. And so when I see newcomers, at the sobriety meetings, I feel really cautious about going. I mean, I think it's important to go up to them and welcome them, but do it, I think, without like making them feel like thank you for joining us. We want you to follow us, or anything like that. So anyway, it's challenging, but again, that consistency is what is important. I had to just keep doing it. Just keep coming back. That's what they say in the meeting, keep coming back, because that's what helps it stick. You have to just keep coming back and keep trying different meetings. It's just like anybody else that you meet. You're not going to meet any old stranger on the street and be like, will you be my friend? And you become best friends for the rest of your life. You're not, maybe not going to go to one meeting and be like, this is my home group. This is my favorite people. I love this. I'm going to come here for the rest of my life. Sometimes you got to shop around, just like you shop around for a partner or whatever. So just keep coming back, just keep looking, keep seeking, I think is what is important. But not just the network, also my family. I understand that not all families are supportive when folks come into the rooms, and that saddens me. It really does, but our community can believe in you. And that's why we say we will love you until you love yourself. Sometimes the sober community is all people have. And that can be enough for you if you're able to be open to that idea, be willing. So Some key lessons I learned. Every year brings new lessons for me, for sure. This was a big year for me. And I have focused a lot on resilience. And I have been shifting my mindset a lot over the past couple months since I started seeing my psychiatrist about what resilience is and what willingness is and what acceptance is. Because I feel like what I've been trying to do over the past 10 months or 8 months before the last 2 months. So, you know what I mean? That I've been trying to replace my depression and my sadness and the like with hopefulness and happiness. And I thought that resilience was really just bravery, like your chin is always high. And that's not resilience. Resilience is not never falling down. It's not never crying. And it's not never saying I can't or it's too hard. And I have said that. I've said that a lot over the past 10 months. And I haven't cried as much as I feel like I need to. And I don't know why that is, but we're getting to that with the psychiatrist talking about what I need to do, how I need to grieve, and that kind of thing. But resilience is getting back up after you fall. It's calling the psychiatrist when you feel depressed. It's making doctor's appointments when you're fed up with doctors. Grabbing a tissue when you cry. That's resilience. Grabbing a tissue when you cry. It is. And doing the next right thing anyway, despite the pain, despite the grief, despite the lump in my throat. And when I was planning out this episode, I got a lump in my throat at the exact same time that I just got it again. It's a space that I don't let myself sit in for very long. And that is how hard it is. I don't let myself think about how hard what I'm doing is. Not just the sobriety. The sobriety has gotten easier, so much easier over the years. What's difficult sometimes is when life happens despite your sobriety, because we want all the negativity to be behind us. All of the fight needs to be behind us. I did the hard stuff. I thought that my sobriety was the hard stuff. But today I know that my sobriety was practice for the hard stuff. And right now, I feel like I may be coming out on the other side of the hard stuff. That's what it feels like right now. And that is pretty amazing. But it's being in the hard stuff when you thought you already went through the hard stuff that I think proves it tests you. It tests your sobriety. Somebody said once in a sobriety meeting that it's a spiritual checkpoint. And I love that. I love that idea because that's what it really feels like for me. It's like, okay, do you have what it takes? This is what you have. This is your challenge. Are you willing to take your challenge and face it. And it's a spiritual checkpoint. Have I done the things that I need to do in order to tackle what's ahead of me? Do I have what's inside of me right now? If I don't, that's okay. Don't panic. Go to a meeting, call somebody, get a psychiatrist. These things are resilience. And I keep moving forward because the only alternative is to die. If I, you know, I refuse to die by my own hand, and that is what drinking is for me. If I drink, I will die. And since I'm moving forward, I just keep picking up the tools that we talk about in this podcast: mindfulness, acceptance, compassion towards myself and towards others around me. Um, why not? If I have to keep walking forward, why not put my best foot forward? Why not pick up the tools that help me to walk lighter? Another key lesson for me has been gratitude. And there is just an immeasurable amount of power that is given to me by showing up in the rooms of AA. And I wake up every day and I virtually stumble, I roll out of bed and virtually stumble into a 7 a.m. meeting. And often before the meeting even starts, I'm acknowledging gratitude for getting another day to feel. And that's it, not feel good, not feel bad or anything specific. It's just gratitude that I am able to feel. And I'd spent a long time thinking that I was feeling, but I wasn't. I was numbing everything. I was wearing muted glasses. That's what I said in my Facebook post announcing my anniversary today, that I'm experiencing the vivid colors of life without these muted glasses that I used to wear. And the rest, this life stuff, I try to buckle in for it. I try to trust that I have what it takes to keep moving forward, and so far I do. And if I don't have all the answers, I have resources to get the answers. I'm never alone. I'm never, ever alone. I've even started diving more into this Bible study and figuring out, like, do I want to learn more about that? Maybe I want to become super religious or something. I don't know. I've never gone down that road, and I have more time on my hands. Why don't I learn more? Why don't I educate myself a little more? And so I'm trying that out also. I'm trying out by way of, I got something called a recovery Bible, and I got it for my sponsee as well. And it has it has a journal and it has a workbook, and it's this thick. It's like the size of a Bible, and the like pages are thin like tissue paper, like the Bible. So we'll see. It's really, really hard on my eyes because the size of the font is like a Bible also. So I started today on my anniversary, and I thought, I'll just do a little bit at a time. That's all I can do. I want to do it. So it'll be a great way for me to practice reading, which is one of my challenges post-stroke due to my vision issues, limitations, disability, whatever it's called, my vision issues and my cognitive challenges as well from my stroke. the language and stuff. It's hard. It's really hard. Tangent. I realize that. It's hard for me to realize what it is that I'm having the problem with reading. I can't tell if it's my eyes or it's the connection between my eyes and my thinker, like the language part. But there's something that is shorting out. Like I cannot seem to process as quickly what it is I'm looking at. And I thought it was because I can't bring it into focus, but I'm starting to think it might be the transfer of the information from my eyes to my thinker. I don't know. So yeah, total tangent. But anyway, I'm going to be practicing this skill by reading this recovery Bible. So get one, it's on Amazon. Okay. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you, to my listeners. You clicking play has been a pivotal part of my sobriety over the past 10 months, that I have been scratching my way out of a very dark, scary place without a drink and without a mind-altering substance. Knowing that I have people that are listening to what I have to say keeps me going in this direction. And it helps me to continue to put my time and my effort and my passion into sharing my experience, strength, and hope to make sure that my suffering isn't just for me, that I can bring as many people as possible with me. I want to pull as many people along with me as I am lifted out of my darkness. So I want to thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart. And as I'm wrapping up today, I want to also express to you, to ask you to please remember to use your voice to share your experience with those around you. Every day is an opportunity to share something that you're going through with other people. And you never know whether it's to help yourself or to help them. So please use your voice. There are times that I share something that I'm going through because I need help. And that experience turns around where that person tells me that I helped them, that you'll never understand how much you changed my life by what you said. And I was doing it for me. You never know who is around you that is suffering. So please be inspired to share your story with those around you. And thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for listening to me today. And happy anniversary to me. I will talk to you tomorrow.